everybody. Welcome back to Three Girls, One Deck. This is our 17th episode. So we've been doing this for a long time. You
I
guys.
know. It doesn't feel like that long.
17 episodes, which is crazy. Anyway, so
I
hi,
know.
Tarot student.
Hi, Tarot student.
So I'm obviously here with Julie and Heather as per normal. Hi, Lala Love Song.
Hi, Lala.
And yeah, today we don't actually have a theme. Hi, Gigi.
Hello,
We have
Gigi.
no theme this time. We just each picked a deck. So, and we didn't even find out what deck Julie was doing until like 5 minutes ago. So
try saying that 5 times fast when you've had a drink.
Yeah, great. As you have been telling, yeah, my brain's been working great lately, and I'm just doing great. So, anyway, hey, Mixtress. So I figure we can just go ahead and jump right into it. So yeah,
let's go. Let's do it.
And I'm going first.
Yeah,
that would be me, because we actually did the Kai Bible ahead of time.
Yes, we did.
And came prepared. So hi, Tarot Geek. Oh, kind of like that you don't have a theme. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about themes, and we had some themes like sort of on the back burner, and then we just sort of like didn't feel like doing them. So we just were like, let's pick a deck. Like, let's just pick a deck. So anyway, Julie just greeted everyone on my behalf.
I'm sorry, you're right. I did do that. Wow.
You're probably like, wow, Sarah could just type and talk at the same time. God,
even I was confused, and I know. How did that happen?
Oh, so off to a great start.
Per usual.
So the deck that I am going to be talking about today is the Future Ancestor Tarot. And let me make myself big, because here we go. So this is the Future Ancestor Tarot, and this deck is still available from the last time I checked, which was just a couple days ago, because I wanted to come prepared. This deck is still available. It's on Etsy, and it's by Lexa Luna Studios, is the creator. And this deck, I really, really love it. And it really sort of came for me in a time of my life when I really needed it, I think. So I saw this on somebody's channel, and I don't remember whose channel it was, but I'm going to start showing some cards. And I don't remember whose channel it was, but I thought it was so pretty, and I went to go look at it. And the creator on her listing on Etsy talked about how she had been inspired to make this deck by the fact that two of her grandparents had just passed away. Mm-hmm. And at that time, one of my grandparents had just passed away, and one of them was expected to pass away like really, really soon. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of feel like I really, really need this deck. Like, I don't know, I felt very connected to it sort of instantly. And I bought it, and I was connected to it really instantly. And so like last summer and kind of into the fall, I used this deck a ton. And it's really beautiful. It's just, I think it's painted with like calligraphy ink and water. And then it has like little bits of real flowers and foliage incorporated into the artwork. And so it's very simple. Like a lot of it has a very sort of simple feeling. You know, most of the figures are just very kind of simply drawn. But I don't know, it has a connected feeling. Like I really like the title of it, because it is one of those decks that sort of makes you feel connected to the world, and like feel connected to human history, and feel connected to, you know, your own ancestry, and feel connected, you know, so I really, really love the title of it, because, you know, future ancestors, like, you know, thinking about your own ancestors, or like your own ancestors in terms of humanity as a whole, and also how you can be a good future ancestor, obviously. I don't know, it's just, I think it's got a really beautiful meaning to it. And so it's really gorgeous. One of the things that I really love about it too is that it has changed up the quartz. So so the courts are gender neutral. The pages are the equivalent of the pages is the student. The knight is the explorer, and then the queen is the listener, and the king is the maker. And they've also changed up all of the suits, well, almost all the suits. So swords are needles, and wands are candles, and pentacles are, where did I put one somewhere here. I don't know where I put it. Pentacles are seeds in any case. So so I really like the choices of what they chose for the suit symbols, because none of them are like violent. And as a crafter myself, I really love the suit of needles being the suit of swords, because I feel like it really sort of gets at that kind of like, you know, there really is a huge like mental component to you know, to creating things, you know, with needle and thread or knitting or anything like that. And so I really, really love that association. I love the use of seeds as pentacles. And so it's just, I don't know, it's a really wonderful deck. And again, it's really, really simple, but it just has a wonderful feel to it. And I especially want to show this wheel card, which I love. It might be kind of hard to see what's going on, but there's like the wheel of foliage, and then the person in the middle is floating in water. And it's just like their little hands and feet and their belly showing above the top of the water, which sort of gets at that whole like sort of still center of the wheel kind of concept, you know, when you think about the Wheel of Fortune. And I just love that imagery. There's so many things that I absolutely love about this deck. Some of the other cards that got changed up, like the Hierophant is virtue. And, you know, you can think of this as being just like a grandmother, you know, maybe imparting lessons to a child, which I think is really wonderful. The Emperor shows somebody who is basically like made stuff and is like running a shop, you know, like has sort of, that's the way in which they've kind of given structure to their world. I really love that. I really love the Moon card, because it just shows like, you know, 3 women in like joyous abandon, basically. Well, one of them is sort of meditating, and then the other 2 are in joyous abandon. So it's just oh, this is the
future ancestors.
Yeah, this is Metamorphosis, which is the equivalent of the Hanged Man, which I really love this one too. It's just a person wrapped in a blanket.
Like thingies coming off his thing, or is it just, no, I think it's just the line of the leaf.
Wait, the coming off his thing?
Yeah. Thingies coming off.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I think it's just the line of the leaf. So anyway, so I really love this one. It has really beautiful cardstock. It's a very thin, like very lightly textured linen cardstock. Like it feels like a playing card. And these are the backs. I think the backs are really beautiful too.
That's pretty.
That is pretty.
And I love this deck. This is the Death card. I mean, it just, and the thing about it too is that, and I need to find where I put it here. It doesn't come with a guidebook. So, you know, that's one thing to note. It just comes with basically like a little fold out, and it's really tiny. It's only like this big. And so each card only has maybe one or 2 sentences of meaning. Like it's a very, very short little message for each of the cards. But the messages are like so poignant and right on. Like every time I looked at the message in the little fold out when reading with this deck, it always was just like nail on the head what I needed in that moment. Like I don't know what sorcery was going on there, but it's just one of those ones where it's like really, really well done, perfectly poignantly crafted little message that was always just what I needed. So it's just, yeah. So it's a wonderful deck. I don't know. Do you guys have any questions about it?
Well, for the short messages, did they feel very kind of broad or specific to the theme of that kind of future ancestors premise? Like
more broad, I guess. You know, like the 4 of Cups, for example, break from the crowd and tend to your own energy without distraction. You know, 8 of Needles, are you a prisoner of your own thoughts? How do we release you? the listener of needles, as the seeker of truth, you are not swayed by biases or fading emotions. Like, it's not, they're broad, they're broad and they're relatively general, but for some reason, like, I don't know, it was always just like just what I needed right in the moment that I needed it. So that was kind of magical. So yeah, it's a really really lovely little deck, and it's one of those ones that I don't see around like a ton. I know I do see it, but not like a ton. And like I said, it is still available, and I think it's really a deck that's worth looking at.
Did you use it every day? Like how did you use it? Did you find that you were doing like daily draws from it? I mean,
at
or
the
was
time,
it
at the time, I wasn't doing daily draws like very consistently, just because. Yeah, that whole period of time was a little bit of a mess for me that I was using this. So I wasn't doing daily draws super consistently, but whenever I did a reading, I was doing a reading with this. And there were like specific moments when I did readings with, like, I actually did a reading with this the day before my grandpa died, because I was planning on going down the next day to visit him, or driving out to Alexandria, where he was in the nursing home, and he died that morning before I could get there. But the message that I got when I did the reading was just very, like, it was very reassuring and hopeful, and again, it was like what I needed. And so I just have a really kind of strong and special connection with this one, because it came into my life at just such the right time. Sort of like the Saturite Beto that way. The Saturite Beto is another deck that like really came into my life at just the right time. And you kind of like form a really strong connection with the deck when you do that. But I do also just really love this one. Like, I think here's the Hermit. The Hermit is like reading on top of a pile of books, which I really, really love. So it has like, I think it has a lot to offer, and it's deceptive in how simple it looks. And it's actually just a really wonderful deck. So
it sounds like you used it a lot for actual readings,
yeah,
as opposed to would you say it lends? I mean, this deck seems very I don't know. Yeah, there's something more, I don't know, pensive or contemplative about it. So maybe it doesn't necessarily lend as much to like an everyday type of deck, would you say? Or
I mean, I think you could use it in just about any way. Like, I don't think it has like such a strong personality one way or the other. That, I mean, it still like reads fine as like a deck. It happened to be in the moment that those were the kinds of messages that I more needed, and that I was able to get out of it. But it just, generally speaking, it feels somebody just, yes, tarot student has a kind and warm air about it.
Yeah.
Which is 100% true. I think Julie and I just both tried to share.
One of you needs to agree to do comments.
Okay.
One of you,
Julie,
just one of you.
Julie, while I'm doing this, will you show it? She and I both have access to the stream, and so like we can do stuff at the same time, which is how she was able to comment as me. And so
and they do keep doing stuff at the same time.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like I add Julie to the stream, and then she adds herself at the same time and takes herself out. Anyway, it's a disaster. So but so yeah, it has a very, very kind feel about it. It's a very loving feeling deck, and it does sort of help you, like I said, feel connected to humanity in a way. Like, I don't know, that's the best way I can describe it, is that feeling of connectedness. And everything that's depicted isn't like depicted in any specific time necessarily. And everything is so like fairly gender neutral in terms of the courts, and everything is so, like there isn't any like medieval style weaponry in the suit symbols. It's all just everyday objects that aren't magical, and so it just has a really like a relatability to it. It's just, and it does feel like really warm and welcoming. Marlene says a healing deck for me. Yeah.
Do you think if you were somebody completely new to tarot would be able to pick up this deck and work with it?
I do, actually. I mean, I think you would need book, and I think it's useful to know, because I don't think she ever really makes explicit like the way that I mean, she makes explicit the way that the suit symbols align. She doesn't make it super explicit the way that the quartz align, and I think like student and explorer are kind of obvious, but maker and listener for the king and the queen aren't super obvious. And honestly, like you could go either way with the associations. Like I don't think I think she intends for the listener to be more of the queen figure and the maker to be more of the king figure, but there's no necessary reason why you need to gender them in that way. You know, they're just different energies. One is more like inward turned energy and one is more outward turned energy. So I think you would need to at the very least be able to sort of like make those connections mentally. But I think just in terms of the way that the cards represent the meaning, it's very consistent with like a traditional with a Rider-Waite-Smith meaning. So I think it would be very possible to be a beginner in tarot and to be able to work with this. It might be maybe a little more challenging than, you know, you'd have to
you'd probably just need a good book, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I will say that like I said, even though the messages in the little fold out are very, very short, like they give you something to work with. Like they give you a message to work with. So yeah, so it's really wonderful that way.
It's really cute. It's really, really cute.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. It's just lovely. It really is such a like Marlena said, it's a healing deck, very much so. So I needed it in that moment, and it really gave me what I needed. So anyway, that's the future.
Sarah, can you show the full card?
Yes. Let me find it. I think the full card shows a person diving into water, and I love it. But I feel like I had it here. Here it is. Here's the full card. So really like that card. It kind of reminds me of the full card in the Numinous Tarot, where it's the person diving, which I really like as a full card. You know, there's an intentionality about it as opposed to the Rider-Waite-Smith Fool, where he's just about to fall off the cliff and doesn't notice. So, so I like that.
Yeah. So Meg is saying, I like the idea of this deck in the title. I mean, I like it too. I like the idea of it. And like, I don't mind the art. I think it's like nice. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw this deck was actually on Instagram. It was Tina from Queen of Wands. I think. And I was like, what is this?
It might be her Instagram that I saw it on.
Okay, yeah, and
that could be.
That's the only place where I saw it. That's the only.
I've never. The very first time I saw that deck was now, like, and I saw a couple of pictures when you mentioned it was the deck that you were doing, but I don't know this deck at all. I really like it.
I talked about it a few times.
Yeah, it's maybe it is because of like the black and white. And just the style of it, it just looks, and it could be that because I don't have great eyes, it just looks kind of somber from, you know, where I'm sitting. But you were saying it's not necessarily, it's very kind of,
it doesn't really feel somber at all.
Okay.
I don't get that feel at all, Julie.
Oh, really? I do.
It's weird, isn't it? I think
that makes me sad right there, that card.
Oh, but it's just like, if you have the strength to let something go, you know, like it's not just about the strength of you know, like imposing your will kind of strength. It's the strength of being able to set something free, you know, to set something free, either in yourself or in somebody else, which I really like.
I
think it feels really cute and homely.
Yeah.
I think it feels sad. I don't know why. Maybe I'm PMSing or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
It might also be like the people's faces, unless you're seeing really close, like they mostly have little smiles.
Oh, okay. See,
it looks like Doug. You know,
Yeah.
Doug, because
That
Molly
is
was
like
just
Doug,
saying
actually.
about Nickelodeon,
Yeah,
but that
that
looks
is
like
like
Marlena
Doug
just
in
said.
a wig.
Yeah, she just
Yeah.
it reminds her of Nickelodeon
Yeah.
cartoons. Yeah, I mean, like they are kind of like homely, weird looking. Like, is this like a trend? Like where
It
Sarah
might be for you.
homely, weird looking little people?
It
I
is
guess
for
I
you,
just,
yes.
yeah, that's just my
It's
thing, I
clearly an
guess.
aesthetic that Sarah likes.
But yeah, I mean, they aren't somber looking people at all.
Yeah.
They're very peaceful, serene looking people.
Yeah.
But it's not. I wouldn't consider it like significantly
Yeah.
melancholy.
I see. Yeah. And Beth is saying, I can see what Julie is saying. There is a quiet melancholy about it. Seems really, yes, that's what I was thinking too. It's like a hug deck, but with empathy, why you need that hug. Yeah. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like I would be sobbing while using this deck or something. I don't know. I just like,
Well, and I mean, I
feels-
certainly was using it at a sad time in my
Yeah,
life, and
yeah.
and it was giving me
comfort.
really what comfort that I needed in that time of my life. But just in general, here's this I love this student of needles with her little glasses.
Marlena is saying it's unfinished artwork. I think that's weird, but what, as in like intentionally, or it's made to appear unfinished?
That one I don't know the answer to. I didn't know that this was unfinished.
Interesting.
I'm not even entirely sure I understand what that means.
Yeah.
Unfinished. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Is it as in the deck creator didn't finish it and decided to make that the, okay.
I
see the style. Like the
Just like
style
heads
of it.
or not. Yeah.
Yeah. We're all trying to work out how the artist didn't finish their work, but
no, it's true. Like it's sketchy feeling. Like it is it is a sketchy feeling deck. And she did, like the way that she did it is very simple. Like it literally is just calligraphy ink and stuff that she picked up from outside.
And and that's what I actually, despite this not necessarily being like, aesthetically something I'd be drawn to, like I am drawn to it. There is quite like I don't know, like a raw kind of, I don't know. It's very poignant, I think.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is she, does anyone know if she's like a trained artist, or, I mean, this was just something that, she's self-taught and she just decided to.
I don't know her background. In terms of her art background, I know that, like, here's what she says about herself. Lexa Luna Studio was founded by Alexa Villanueva, a Filipina-American artist, clay witch, tarot reader, and grateful human. During a period of deep grief, she embarked on a journey of healing through the creation of this body of work. Each card was collaged using sumi ink and pieces of nature that surrounds her home on Coast Salish land, also known as Seattle, Washington, which also might be a reason why I feel connected to it, because of the Pacific Northwest connection. These cards are a gentle reminder to live in gratitude for the steps our ancestors took to get us to where we are here and now. And then it's dedicated to her two grandfathers who had just passed away when she made it. So it's just, I don't know. I love this one so much. Like it really has a unique feeling to me, and that connected feeling is something that I don't know that I've really gotten from another deck to this extent before. So I just think it's really special. Anyway. Future Ancestor Tarot is still available on Etsy. So
would you use that for ancestor work per se? Like, did you feel like it was? I
have never engaged in ancestor work like in the way that most people think about ancestor work. For me, like at the time, because I had lost a grandparent and was in the process of losing another grandparent. They were like my last two, grandparents remaining. And in a lot of ways, like really my strong connection to that side of my family. It's, that's why it really hit me, but I don't like contact ancestors or, like I don't do that kind of thing normally. So not to say that I won't ever, but it's in terms of a feeling of connectedness to sort of my family in general, ancestry in general, humanity in general, like where we all come from and where we're all going. And especially with the suit symbols in particular, the candles and the needles and the cups and the seeds, it just like it has a very timeless feel about it that helps you feel that connectedness sort of both forward and backward, I feel like. So
Okay, Marlene is saying, I've never connected it to future ancestor at all. I never really understood the title. I love it anyway.
Yeah. I do think the title
yeah.
is very much inspired by like what she was potentially going through at the time that she created it, you know, so, and like the sort of inspiration and backstory for why she created it. So
I mean, yeah, I agree with Aspasia Rising, Beth. I think you are selling it. You're selling it for sure. I need to think on it. It's just, I don't know. Yeah.
It's really sweet.
Yeah.
It's really sweet. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
What are you laughing at, Heather?
It's very. She's like, buy the thing. And I don't know.
I don't mean to be. Buy tarot. Hashtag buy tarot responsibly.
Yes.
So, yes. Yeah. As of course, as always, buy tarot responsibly. So anyway, so that's it. Unless anybody has any other questions, we can. Not edgy enough for Julie.
This is like sad.
Efficient vampires.
Yeah, I mean, slap some fangs on it, and then maybe I'll consider it. No,
you can always add some fangs for yourself.
Exactly, I know. All you need is a black Sharpie. I mean, this is very simple artwork.
No, it is. Yeah,
you could just draw some fangs right on there. So
that's so funny. Oh my god.
Oh, we all know you too well.
All righty.
So, is Julie next?
Oh, I guess I am.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me now try to put myself. How does one do this?
I'll do it. I got you.
Thank you.
Girl, I got you.
Thank you.
Yay!
I would remember how to do this by now. It's fine. Okay, so my choice for today is actually a deck that I have been working with the last few weeks, and that is the Soul Cats Tarot. This is by Lisa Robertson, and the art is by Adam Ohlers, whom you would know from Oak Ash and Thorn and Smoke Ash and Embers.
Yes,
that's the one.
Yeah, and then and Lisa Robertson, I think she's like a fairly known, well-known tarot kind of guidebook writer. This is the first deck that I have of hers, actually. But so the funny thing is, this was actually on my I love the backs. This was on my anti-haul because I really you know, animal decks, I've said it like so many times ad nauseum, animal decks are a little bit, I normally try to stay away from them because they can go neglected. I love cats. I love Adam Ohlers' work. And so it was hard on me that the other two decks were so chunky and also very animal. And I don't know, I just, so this was on my anti-haul, but it actually, someone sent it to me as a lovely gift. And I mean, it was a nice surprise. And I was just like, oh, I actually love that I got this because, you know, I can try it out. And it's actually, I have been finding it's, I don't know if I'm like changing my mind on animal decks or something. It could be that since I've moved to this new area, I'm like surrounded by a lot more wildlife, foxes and deer and all sorts of birds and you know, so maybe that's why. But like, I've been finding this to be a very kind of sweet deck to work with. I love the, you know, I just love his work. I will say that, you know, another reason that this was on my anti-haul is because a lot of these cats are anthropomorphized in the sense that like some of them do wear clothing, and some of them have, I don't know, just like, yeah, like some of them had wings and shit. And I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. So I was hesitant, but the guidebook does elaborate on, you know, the whole story behind these cats, which is that
Matilda is very excited that
we're okay. Well, good.
She comes to join me, and I'm going to put her on the floor. Sorry, honey.
It's it's so the whole idea is that these are soul cats, and that they are just, beautiful and imperfect, and they are mystical. So, and they're here to bring us messages. They're here to, teach us about life through their own experiences, etc. And so the reason why some of these cats are anthropomorphized and wearing clothes and such is because they have the ability to glamour themselves like vampires. So like when they glamour themselves, they come across as actually just normal everyday cats.
Oh, I see.
But when they take off their glamour, you see them as their true selves, which is apparently like when they have wings and shit and like they wear clothes and stuff. And at first I'm like, but like, I mean, honestly, I like for like this card, for instance, I'm like, what is it? Like, but and really the premise sounds a little bit kind of, funny. But it actually does give me permission to like, okay, I can get on board with this. I can make allowances for this. And I think it helps that Adam Ohler's art is just so beautiful. So yeah, so this is no problem. So yeah, it's just really, I will say, because Sylvain and I from Sylvain's Deadly Sins, he and I have been kind of chatting about this deck, and he made mention of something that now I can't unsee, and you guys won't be able to either. You're welcome. Which is that sometimes the cats don't have buttholes, which like I don't know if I would have noticed that first or not, but it's like, yeah.
Oh my God.
Cats don't have buttholes.
This just makes me think of that whole apocryphal story about how the Cats movie had like the butthole edit where they like this is, I'm sure not actually true, but there was like a joke going around on Twitter when that movie came out that like at one point, they'd CGI'd in buttholes on all the cats.
Oh, really?
And then took them back out again. Well, like I laughed so hard at that. But yeah,
I did not hear that.
Yeah, it was honestly, it was hysterical. So because it's one of things where like that movie was so insane that like you're sort of like, maybe they did put buttholes on all the cats. Like I don't know.
Well, I mean, I refrained from watching that movie because so
did I. Because I've seen it live on stage and it was incredible, and I refused to watch it.
Used to have it, tainted.
The movie was a horror. I've never, it was, oh my Lord. Anyway.
So this is a really sweet deck. I think the guidebook, is typical Llewellyn. It's one of these typical shiny books where you get the full color and you get the descriptions. Like see something. So this cat apparently is not glamored. This cat is showing his full unglamored soul cat self.
I mean, do they glamour their buttholes in and out as they,
I don't know. All of them are like buttholeless. And granted, there aren't many from that angle. So.
Missing buttholes on cat decks reminds me of missing nipples on naked ladies.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. So,
Lose mods from Juli, women's private parts and buttholes. Yes.
I'm sorry. I know.
Juli adds bush and buttholes.
I mean, it might have to. I don't know. It's. Yeah. So anyway, and somebody was asking if their butts were just fluffy, and no, it's not that. It's not like so much fluff that it like obscures the butthole. It's just you don't have any butthole. But anyway, so
I am so not well enough for this conversation.
I'm sorry. You can thank Sylvain.
I'm so confused with what's happening right now.
You can thank Sylvain because
buttholes are just such a specific part of cat lore.
But that's the thing, right?
That's the thing. Like have you ever played a good Nico at Sume where the cats like they just have like a little X, but they still have a butthole. They're little cartoon cats, but they still have a butthole.
Like, I mean, I have a butthole coloring book. I mean, like seriously. I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing. But in any case, so aside from that, this is actually a really sweet deck. And so the majors are just a mixed breed. And then you have the court cards that are unglamoured cats in their full soul cat glory. And then the minors, it's a mix of whether they want to glamour themselves or show their true form. And so each minor suit is a different breed of cat. So I think like one is Bengals, one is like the Maine Coon, one is like a Siamese, and one is a something else. I can't remember. But this one was a little hard for me. I feel like this one's a little bit OTT, given just like how sweet the other ones are. It's like got blood dripping everywhere. But otherwise, this is a good deck.
Did the cat have a mouse in its mouth? Was it a mouse that it kept? Okay.
Yeah, it did.
I don't know. I feel like that kind of doesn't bother me because, again, that's just such a cat thing, you know, like when you have a cat, you sort of accept that you are living your life with a tiny apex predator who, if it was larger, would actually kill you. And, you know, like, it's just one of those things.
For sure. For sure. The mouse part doesn't bother me as much as the seeping blood going all the way down and dripping all the way down.
Oh,
It's kind of, I don't know, it just seemed very, it was jarring compared to like all the other images.
And it's true. Normally cat mouse murders are not that bloody. So,
exactly. And
I get it.
Anyway, so here's another unglamoured cat. But and another thing that you know, Celine had mentioned, which is I feel like it is very true. It's like it does have this kind of angel-like quality to it, you know what I mean? So for somebody who necessarily is not interested in kind of the conventional trad angels, you know, that feel more religious or Christian, this is a kind of a great way to lean into similar energy, especially given a lot of the visuals where they do have like these angel wings, and they do feel very kind of otherworldly, like spirit cats, you know? So that's pretty much it. I mean, it's, you know, the typical Llewellyn cardstock that I love, and it's, you know, it's mass market. So I'm pleasantly surprised. And also, and like, here's Three of Cups, which I love that interpretation or that visual for Three of Cups. So anyway, so I really have come around to this deck. Like, I'm so thrilled that someone thought of me, and, you know, or otherwise I would never have thought to give this deck a chance. And yeah, it's just really, I really like it. And I just think the premise around it is, you know, at first I felt it was like a little bit silly with like the soul cats and the glamour and all that, but it's actually quite like charming and endearing. So
which is hilarious, because when you talk about it, you sound really snarky and like you think it's silly.
I do I? Well, I guess I do. Yeah. And I think I do think it's silly. I mean, I think I started off thinking it would be maybe like, oh, okay, I'm reading this guidebook, and I mean, I'm going to try to get on with this premise. But, you know, I've done like daily draws with it and readings, and actually the readings have come off more for sure, more serious and more sincere, and like not silly at all. Like these cats in themselves, like when I pull them, I don't smirk, you know. I actually find myself really drawn in by them, and just, it is, I don't know, it just feels very sweet. It just feels very kind of sweet, I guess. There's like a calm energy about this deck. So yeah, I think, and I think the guidebook I think is pretty good. I mean, there are some parts where transition wise a little rough, but otherwise, you know, I think it's a good deck. So anyway,
interesting.
I like this deck. I do have this deck on my wish list, but I've just never because I'm the same as you. Again, we can go out, like say it all the time, but animal decks aren't really my thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I have cats and I love my cats, but I'm not a cat person. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a canine person more than anything. And I don't know. Something just holds me. I love his artwork and I like Lisa Robertson's guidebooks. I don't know what it is. There's just something that is stopping me from actually buying it.
Is it something like this, like the wings on the cat? I mean, because this is what did stop me in the beginning. I'm just like, but you know, and then others felt a little more like they were doing or looked more cat-like. So that is something that
I wonder if that would be too jarring for me though. Like I either want a deck that's cats being cats, or a deck that's cats being more than cats. I think that both is what puts me off.
Yeah, and that's why at first I did not know what to make of this deck at all. And then kind of reading the like myth behind it, you know, just this backstory of these cats and their existence, I was like, okay. But I mean, funny enough, I don't find it jarring while I'm using it like I thought I would. And yeah, I don't know. And I do think that Adam Oler's work has a lot to do with that. Just that he's just, I don't know. I feel like he could probably draw anything and make it look fabulous, you know? So
yeah.
I think, you know, it's interestingly, I'm not a huge animal deck person either, really, but I usually draw a distinction between, like, there are decks where the animal itself, like the nature of the animal, is what you get the meaning of the card from, right? Like the Orion's Tarot would be an example of that, where it is just like each card has a different animal. And those are the kinds of animal decks that I struggle with more, because you need to know what each animal is and like the natural history of that animal to really understand the card meaning. Whereas, you know, I really love like the Oak, Ash, and Thorn, and I love the Smoke, Ash, and Ember, because the animals are just like little people stand-ins. Like for the most part, they're not really, you know, it's like a Rider-Waite-Smith with animals in place of people in a lot of ways. Not, you know, not 100%, not entirely. And especially in the majors, you know, there's more use of different animals, but like in the Oak, Ash, and Thorn, for example, all the cups are corals, you know, and it's not like, and they're just doing like things that, you know, are exemplify the meaning of the card. So I have less trouble with those kinds of animal decks. It sounds like this is more that kind of animal deck, like interest in the behavior as opposed to. So I am super tempted by this one, because I am a cat person and I freaking love Adam Oler's. But I also like have had such bad luck with cat decks. It's so hard for me to find a cat deck I really like, that I'm like gun shy about cat decks in general. So,
and like this is like another example where it's like, okay, he's got armor on. I mean, he is the Knight of Wands, so okay, but they've got armor on and they've just got these markings, and it almost feels very, I don't know if pagan's the word, but a lot of times the way these cats are styled, it has a very kind of pagan feel to it, which again, not my thing. I don't identify as pagan, and that it's usually not my thing. But yeah, it's definitely, this deck is for a cat deck, it's a class of its own. I mean, it really is. I don't even know how to I don't even know how to describe it. So
one cat deck I do have is the cat deck by Taylor Hultquist Todd, the Felis Arcani, or whatever it's called. And that deck is sort of similar, where like the cats aren't depicted as like, it's not like the Black Cats Tarot where they're all like standing on their hind legs and have like weird, slightly human shaped bodies and stuff like that. But so they're more like, you know, normal cats, but they still do, like, some of them have like little cloaks on, or like little helmets, or, you know, it's very much more like a Rider-Waite-Smith with cats in place of the people in a lot of ways. And that they do, some of them have like outfits and stuff like that, even though they're mostly engaged in normal cat behavior,
cat-like behavior.
And I don't mind that.
Yeah,
that part I just, that doesn't feel like it's so anthropomorphized that it bothers me. It just
yeah.
feels cute, like that cat on Instagram that does fashion shows, it's like
exactly. So yeah, I think that I guess I was just pleasantly surprised, and I don't mean to like minimize it, but it is definitely like in the beginning, I do confess I was just like, oh gosh, I don't know about just this whole like storyline behind why some of these cats have wings and goggles and like weird shit on, and then others.
See, I'm starting to think this is a thing with you, Julie, because
What?
you weren't sure about the soul cats because you didn't really like the story and you thought it was a bit silly and blah blah blah. You didn't really like Everyday Witch because you thought it was a bit silly.
Right?
Look at where we are now.
I know. Well, it just goes to show you never know until you try.
Yeah.
You really truly never know. And I almost feel like I am less and less willing to say, well, animal decks. I'm just not, because over this year, I think I've gotten 4 animal based decks, which they were, they were all beautiful gifts or people rehoming them and wondering if and I'm just like, actually I wouldn't mind trying that out. So yeah, you just never, I mean, again, always evolving.
So what other animal decks do you have, just out of curiosity?
Okay, well, so who was it that was talking? Was it Lala that mentioned, or no, it was Spaz the Rising. Yeah, Malkin. I have that one.
Okay.
And I've only actually been using it to read for somebody else. I have the Way of the Panda Tarot.
Okay.
The Black Cats Tarot. I just got the Woodland Wardens. It was being rehomed, and so it was offered to me. And I'm like, yeah, why not? And I know that the Tarot of the Magical Forest. Hello.
Oh, yeah. That is a good deck.
Yeah,
but I do the same because I say, I don't really like animal decks, and I have like 3 or 4, and I'm really tempted to buy the Oak, Ash, and Thorn, because not only is it beautiful, but it's also, which doesn't happen very often with tarot, is landscape that is familiar to me because they're from the UK. So it looks like the animals that I see every day. And the kind of scenery that I see every day. So I'm really tempted by that deck.
Oh, I've been tempted by both those decks.
I have the other one, I have to admit, but for some reason my brain goes, yeah, but it's dragons, it's not animals. That doesn't count.
Yeah, I just so tempted, but well, at least I have one by him.
I can vouch for both of the other 2. I think I have them both. They're both wonderful. I adore them. And again, I think it is because of that specific thing where it's like the difference between an animal deck that's just specifically like the nature of the animal expresses the meaning versus an animal deck where they're just cute little storybook animals like doing people things for the most part, or like doing like people adjacent animal things that like it expresses the meaning of the card in that way. So like the Oak, Ash, and Thorn to me feels like a storybook because like the squirrels in the cups card are like offering each other little acorn cups. Like it's so cute.
It's very Animals of Farthing Wood, that deck. Did you have Animals of Farthing Wood in America? No. Oh, okay. Well, that probably went over everybody's head but mine then. Never mind.
I'll have to look that up. But
but it was a cartoon that was on when I was a child. And it's very much that sort of, obviously it was set in the UK and in UK woods, and it's very, very much reminds me of that.
Very awesome. Cool. Yeah, I think well, the 2 things that were holding me back is like, oh, animal decks, Julie, you don't do animal decks. And also like the deck looks like this thick. So anyway.
Yeah. Lots of people talking about animal decks here.
Yeah.
This is what Tarot of the Cat people. Do you have that, Julie?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
Of course I do. Like one of my
ask Julie if you have any decks left that aren't animal decks.
Yeah, I know. Really, seriously, at this point,
the Crow Tarot that you showed us the other month.
Oh yeah, but that's got.
I mean, that's got people in it, so
that's
yeah.
got people.
Okay.
I'm talking
Oh, the
like
Murder of Crows. Yeah, the Murder of
Murder
Crows.
Crows,
Yeah.
but predominantly animal decks. I'm kind of getting up there now. I mean, I'm kind of surprised, but this is a pleasant surprise. I do recommend giving this a try. I mean, it's mass market, so it's very accessible, and it's just, I don't know. There's just something about these weird ass cats. Let me tell you. I don't know. It's like they're cute, you know, with their. It's just, I don't know.
I think I need to get it, honestly.
Yeah, I think I probably will end up buying it. It's just a case of when at this point.
Yeah. Anyway,
I might ask for this one for Christmas since it's mass market and it would be easy to get for me.
Yeah.
So, and I love this idea of a Beatrix Potter deck. And actually that's, now that you mention it, Robin, like that's what the Oak, Ash, and Thorn reminds me of in a lot of ways. It has that like storybook feel. Like the animals aren't wearing little clothes like in Beatrix Potter, but the feel of the artwork, like the storybook feel of the artwork, is very Beatrix Potter in my mind. So
yeah, definitely. Micah said,
"Oh, sorry,
it's okay." Micah saying that, she's a Grimalkin. I do really enjoy that deck. Actually,
that's by the same person that did the Crow Tarot and the
and the Cullinane.
And the dog one.
Yes. And with the Grimalkin, it is this kind of style of, I guess I want to say digital collage maybe, but it is very much like that same idea of cats. They're really not anthropomorphized, but doing, they're doing human-esque cat things. So and that works for me. It's like they are still following the trajectory of like an RWS, the archetypes. So that, and it's really I do like her artwork. I will say with this, Tuxedo Cats were shafted.
Not insufficient tuxies for Juli. Tuxedo Cats are awesome. They always have great personalities. I don't know what it is, but they always have phenomenal personalities. So,
and constantly shafted from cat decks. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. Anyway, so that's it for me.
Oh, this is interesting. The Beatrix Potter Society. Oh, interesting.
Oh, well then.
Oak, Ash, and Thorn is the closest. Yeah, I totally think that it is.
For Hoxa.
The 4 Hoxa. I actually just decluttered the 4 Hoxa, which is so cool. It's such a cool deck, but it wasn't what the reason why I bought it. It ended up not being what it actually was, but it is an incredibly cool deck. So I do like what MJ Cullinan does with her art. She does.
Yeah, I had the I cannot even remember what it's called, but it was the dog one. I'm that's not what it was called at all. But I did end up selling that deck. I have to admit, like I really like her artwork, but it just
wasn't doing it for you.
Just wasn't, And I'm kind of like you, Sarah, in that I know I want a dog deck in my collection. I just am really struggling to find the one that is what I'm looking for. I think.
Was your dog featured in that deck? As in, like, your breed of dog?
There was a Yorkshire Terrier, but I think also that was part of the problem as well. That I cannot even remember what card it was, but I think from my having a Yorkshire Terrier with a very Yorkshire Terrier personality, I would not have picked that particular card for that particular breed of dog. So I think there was that caused a disconnect with the rest of the deck for me, because I was like, I don't really understand why the dogs have been put where they've been put.
I see. So there are like no dog decks. I think
there's 2. There's that one, and there's the mass market. Is it that the Magic Dog Tarot?
There's a couple. There's like the Lowrider Dachshund Tarot, and there's there have been a few, but obviously not as. I mean, there's like a zillion more cat decks. Oh, Taylor Holtquist Todd also has a dog deck that is like her cat deck. Very similar in style, but her art style is all sort of like, or in those decks at least, it's all kind of like black and white, almost like very detailed, like pencil drawings. So if you like that art style, her artwork is amazing, but not everybody likes a black and white deck. So
okay,
yeah.
So Let's see. Isn't the tuxedo cat on the cover of the Cat's Eye Tarot? Cat's Eye Tarot.
I don't even know that deck, I don't think.
Yeah,
I probably have seen it before, but
I don't know that one.
it's not coming to mind right now. I'll have to Google it.
Yeah.
I'll have to Google it, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I've looked at so many cat decks, and now I'm blanking on which one that even is. So
yeah.
I
mean, I had the mystical cats at one point,
and
that one actually did have a few, I think a few tuxedo cats, and I really, but first, I think the color palette of that one actually, it was hard for me to look at over time. Like I just felt like it wasn't crisp enough. It felt very soft and like I don't know. So I ended up rehoming that. But yeah. So that's it for me.
Cool. All right. Are you
Heather?
Yeah.
You good to go?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get Heather up here.
Heather's not feeling too well today.
Yeah.
Heather's quite poorly, but she'll manage.
Everybody send energy to Heather.
The Wise Dog Tarot. That's the name of the deck that I couldn't think of.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you later. So I'm going to break the trend of sweet decks now. And I'm going to talk about the Chrysalis Tarot. I don't have a box or anything for this. It was actually a gift from Lisa. And it's written by Tony Brooks, paintings by Holly Sierra. Mine's trimmed. It does actually have a border. But I really, really love this deck. So you have every single card, actually, let me show you some of the.
This isn't considered a sweet deck, or were you being sarcastic?
I don't think it's sweet. No,
that doesn't look sweet to me.
Oh, this one feels so fairy tale to me. Like it's always
it's got a really fantasy feel to it, like a fairy tale fantasy feel, but it's not. I wouldn't describe it as a sweet, warm.
I agree, actually.
Okay,
in that way. But so every major has the original name of, but it also has a character name or something on it. So you've got like Psyche is the world, and you've got the divine child is the Hierophant. I don't know how you say that word. How do you say that word? Hierophant. Yeah, probably very differently to me because we're all from different places. And then the minors, you've got, again, they've changed the suits on this one. So you've got spirals, which are wands, and you've got mirrors in place of cups, and then stones in place of pentacles.
Okay.
And scrolls, which I love, in place of swords, which really focuses in on the more of the air elements of sword than the challenges and stuff that you quite often get with RWS decks. If my voice goes, I apologize in advance for the scratchiness.
Oh,
and then they've done the same with the courts. So the courts are all, you still have the king, the queen, the knight, and the page, but they all have their own titles. So like the queen of, what is she now? The queen of spirals is the muse. The knight of mirrors is the dreamer. And it's, so this, I mean, when I got this deck, I was like, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. It's not, I wouldn't say that it's, the imagery is very RWS inspired at all. Like it follows the same sort of pattern, but it is its very own type of imagery. And this was the first deck that I got where I really allowed myself to go off book, for want of a better way of putting it, because the imagery is so stunning. It has so much going on. It's really easy to read it and like just really open yourself up to what the imagery is telling you. And I think it was the first time I'd ever really done that with a deck for this one, which is why I love it so much. Plus it does have that, I love this card, it does have that really kind of fantasy old type vibe, like real 80s 90s fantasy.
That's
why I like it.
That same here. That's what's always attracted me about that deck. But then what I've always been concerned about is the extent to which it does seem like it changes up the system a little bit. Like the suit symbols feel somewhat intuitive, but aren't like super intuitive. And it I know that it does like really kind of go its own way in a lot of ways. So that's what's always kind of deterred me from getting it. So
yeah, same. Because I feel like a common thread I've heard from people who've tried this deck is that it is a hard deck to get to know, and it does take, you know, work, and because it is so divergent in, you know, several aspects. So that's why I'm just kind of like, especially for me, when they start to change suit names and such, like even with the future ancestors, I mean, those suit names, the changes do track. I mean, I get it. Like they actually work. But either way, it still takes me just a little bit longer than my impatient mind wants to take when I'm giving myself a reading. So then you got
I actually really, I love the changes of the suits in this card, because I feel like they've really align really well with the elements of each suit, and that really works for me. And I think that because I within my like pagan practice, witchcraft practice, I lean very heavily on elements and working with elements and understanding the different elements. And so to have a deck that leans so heavily into my understanding of the 4 different elements and what they represent really works for me. But I can understand why it might not necessarily, it might feel a bit jarring for other people. Like, I don't know what that like was. I don't know where I was going. What else I was going to say? I wasn't going to say anything.
So then you don't have the large companion book with that, do you? Okay.
No, I don't know. So all I've got is this the
little white
book. Yeah.
And
I mean,
is that sufficient enough, you feel?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really use it all that much. I tend to read the cards just, I really do allow myself to just go with whatever comes into my head, which is not my style as a reader generally, because I am kind of like, you know, I am a person who likes definition, and I like, well, I'm an air sign, for crying out loud. I like I like things to make sense, and so it's not my style to just allow myself to be so free with a deck. And this is probably the only deck that I own that I am completely like that with. But like even now, see, I'm opening the guidebook and I'm like, oh look, it's got keywords. Each card has a keyword. That's interesting.
Well, that is interesting. So this is like a really intuitive reader for you.
Yeah, really.
Interesting.
Well, and I heard because Dawn Michelle had this deck and the larger book at one point, and I want to say, if I'm remembering correctly, she said that she really didn't find that the larger book added all that much at all.
I think I would say, like, even just looking, I have looked at the guidebook a little bit more than I make it sound, but you know, each card has got probably a paragraph about this size. So it's got the name of the card, and then it's got a keyword. So like, for example, the 5 of mirrors, which would be the 5 of cups, is forgiveness. And then it's got a good sized paragraph about what the card means. I think if you wanted to really work with this deck and really understand the choices that had been made and the way that the deck was laid out, you could do that perfectly well with just this book. And the bigger guidebook is money you probably don't need to spend unless you want to. I don't know if it would. I don't know what's in it, so maybe it expands massively, but I get the impression that it doesn't, and it isn't necessary.
Okay, so Gigi is saying similarly of the bigger guidebook. And I must say, it's more confusing than anything, to be honest. I found it. Okay, that's helpful to know.
Yeah, that's good to know.
That's really, because oh my gosh, I have been so tempted on and off for like the last like 3-4 years with this deck, and I just never bit the bullet on it.
I think it's definitely, again, I think it's mass market, right?
Yes.
And it's not very expensive.
Is it Los Carabeo?
Yes. No, US games. Games. But it's the card stock's fine. The card stock's, I mean, I don't know how old this deck is, because I say I was gifted this deck. But
did it come in a tuck box?
I have no idea. Mine came in a peggy bag, so I have no idea.
Okay.
I believe it does come in a tuck box, Julie.
Then that might be the older cardstock.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I do struggle to riffle shuffle. Like I don't know if they have separate words, but names, but I can riffle, but then I can't. Is it bridge?
Bridge.
Yeah. When I try and bridge, it's not bendy enough, and then cards fall out, and they end up going the wrong way, and it's a whole thing. But that partly is probably because I have arthritic fingers and wrists, and so I just don't have the strength for it. But it is slightly thicker cardstock than some of the other cards that I have.
Okay.
But mine also has like weird edgings, but that's because it's been trimmed.
Right. Yeah. No, that is cool that they do sell the deck and the bigger guidebook just completely separately, like that. That is kind of cool. Yeah.
I'm so tempted. It's so pretty. It's so pretty.
I mean, it is. I would say I like the backs as well. The backs are reversible, which I'm not really bothered about backs one way or the other, but I do like my backs to be reversible, even though I don't generally tend to read reversals.
Interesting.
Okay.
But it's still a thing that I like. I don't know why. It's just a thing that I like.
Fair enough. I mean,
I can understand that.
It's a pretty back.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
You know, I think there's some part in my head that's like, at some point though, I might want to reverse my cards, and I don't want to know they're reversed while I'm shuffling them, just in case this is the time I want to reverse them.
Oh gosh, I totally misread that. I thought that said fuck box, and I'm like, what? Fuck box and cards.
It's like, wow.
I was like, okay.
You're kind of hostile about boxes.
Okay. I mean, I don't have a box, so don't come at me.
Oh my God.
That's so funny.
Tuck box rage. Yeah. Okay. Oh man.
Tuck box rage. That is a thing that exists.
It does.
Are the worst.
It is a thing that exists. So I still have never found an issue with
Yeah.
Interesting. See, I don't read reversals, and in fact, I kind of like non-reversible backs so that I know when I'm holding the deck upside down whether I've got it upside down or whether I've got the cards the right way or not. You know, like so, which is just this is just one of those things where it's like, okay, I want, it makes it easier for me to like start flipping cards over if I know
which way which.
If I know which way is which, even when I have the cards face down. So
that makes
sense. I know we all have different weird,
I like them both
preferences.
Yeah.
So
and like they are, I mean, I'm surprised by how much I like this deck because it is very bright and very busy, which is not normally my thing, but I just really love it. And it's like strength is 11 and justice is 8, which I used this deck for weeks and weeks and weeks before I even noticed that.
Yeah.
Does it feel thothy then?
I mean, I don't know the Thoth well enough to really like. I'm still learning the Thoth, so I don't know well enough to answer that. But then, I mean, when you look at the keywords, I think it probably does have a bit of that.
Yeah.
Going on, like you've got the 9 of Scrolls, the keyword is despair, which I'm pretty sure on the 9 of Swords, Thoth 9 of Swords. So I do think it's more Thoth inspired than
interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
Huh. Okay.
Well.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, this one's just so tempting. It's always
it's so cute. The court cards are called the Troupe. That's what they're called. So they all have names like the minstrel, the artiste, the acrobat.
Oh, that's fun.
The watcher, the dreamer. I really like that.
That is cool. And so each one of them just has their own
name. Yeah.
Totally different name from every. Okay, interesting.
See, that reminds me of the oh gosh, what is that one? There was another deck that I had that did that. And it confused the shit out of me.
The Cosmovisions
it tells you on the card, look. So you've got like the illusionist, but right underneath, and it's not small. It's like it's easy to see. It says nine of what is this now? No, stones. I can't see. I can't read them backwards.
So that's what, yeah.
And that's interesting that the illusionist is the Knight of Stones. So the Knight of Pentacles is the illusionist. See, and that I would never like make that.
I would never have. Exactly.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. So I can see why you read this one intuitively, because it was when you mentioned again, also like just a little bit ago, you mentioned that the key word for the 5 of Mirrors was forgiveness, which is not what I think of as a keyword for the 5 of Cups. So so it's really interesting.
Yeah. So Heather, do you ever read with 2 decks? I think it would pair well with the Green Witch.
I haven't ever read with 2 decks, but I will give it a go, and I'll let you know how I get on with that. Because I have Green Witch, so I'll try it.
Awesome. Okay. Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, you two have definitely tempted me today. Oh, goodness gracious.
All right.
Think on it.
Well, are we done?
I think we are.
Well, that's it. All right, cool. Well, I don't know if anybody has any other like parting thoughts, but thank you all as always again so much for joining us while we ramble on about decks we like. And our next one is December 10th. Saturday, December 10th will be the date of our next live stream. So that's 4 weeks from today on Julie's channel this time. And then we also do have plans to record the next Raven's Prophecy series, the final one, in early December. So that should hopefully be coming out on Julie's channel as well sometime in December. So yeah, that's what we've got coming up. And that's it. Thank you all so much for joining us as always, and have a great rest of your Saturday, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.